Well, everybody, we're already behind and need to get to the final game of the day. So just remember, all subs and bits during October, all of the profits from that that I receive will be going to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Because charity is important, because equality is important, and because showing people on Twitter what's up is also important. Yeah, sometimes being angry has uses. Well, let's go ahead and go to the reveal. Please welcome on in our GM for the final game of the day, Tristan. Tristan, my egg! My friendly egg friend. Hello!
Hello.
Hey, I'm super excited for you to be here.
Oh, I probably should have brought a game that wasn't butt then.
Well,
awkward.
I mean, we like butts here.
This is true.
Yeah. So you promised me butts. Now you need to deliver on the butts. My
Well,
demand.
we have butts. They're mostly sitting in driver's seats, though.
Ooh, vroom vroom.
So what we got here is what is actually a really good arcade game that got a series of really, really bad ports, and I'm bringing one of the worst of them. The game is Power Drift, which anyone who knows Power Drift in the arcade is probably like getting their pitchforks ready. Bear with me for a moment. This is the Amstrad CPC version of Power Drift.
Hell, yeah, there's no way that could go wrong.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I knew nothing about Power Drift. I know that the Amstrad CPC is old. That's my knowledge going into this match, okay?
That's the main problem, is the Amstrad was kind of this like budget computer system, and the chip in it is basically a Dorito. And most of the ports from arcade games especially attempted to get, take an arcade experience and condense it down into this system that has no power on it, and they had to sacrifice stuff. And in this case, they sacrificed everything that made the game good.
Not generally what you want to do when you're sacrificing your video games. Well, that's okay, because we get to put players up to be sacrificed as well by playing this game. And I have a feeling that it is a pretty big sacrifice. Do you happen to know the point situation and essentially how the players need to do in order to make progress?
I haven't known what a point is since about 1999. I don't plan to start now.
Why? Are you a big Browns fan? Sorry, that's my sports reference for the day, everybody. You got it.
Apparently, the first place winner goes to the tiebreakers and everyone else is eliminated, is what I'm being told.
Okay. So one person will be moving on to the tiebreakers. That is cool. Let me go ahead and see. Moving over to the match, and let me see if Martin can get the game up.
Yeah, so the thing about the audio is Power Drift on the arcade is known for having this really amazing music track that never stops the entire time. It's just non-stop action with really banging music. This version has no music.
Oh, no. Well, if I get really bored, I can play audio for us. I'm working on getting everybody captured, by the way. It looks like everybody has their stream up. We only have 3 players for this match, right?
Yeah, did someone just run away when they heard I was the GM? What happened there?
I don't know. I know that we've had one rage quit this week, so that's cool.
Yeah, KM has it. Half the attraction of Power Drift is the music, and they didn't. They just didn't.
Well, I mean, it's life.
Yeah.
How it goes sometimes, just difficult to do music and stuff.
So what we have is a go-kart arcadey racing game with engine sounds and no music, so I hope you're ready for an hour of that.
I'm ready for anything, okay? Look, we listened to... Yesterday during Kuso6rande, we had a game that was bad enough that I actually did modify the audio as much as possible to stop people from bleeding and yelling at me. So this has to be better, right?
Yeah, it's probably better than that. I would recommend at some point bringing in the backup music, but I don't think you're gonna have to do anything with this. It's
That was
fine.
PC speaker Roston, okay? It's
Oh,
not okay.
that's not okay. No.
No,
It's
not at
funny
all.
though. I'm a real big fan of arcade racers, and every time I bring that up, people are surprised because it's like, why would you like driving games? You only like RPGs. Who are you? But it's like, no, I like cruising. I like Power Drift. I play Trackmania all the time, and just this is a problem.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, by the way, I will probably need to recapture Martin because Tristan chose a non-standard platform. TPC, who
Okay,
the crap
this isn't
chooses
Chuck Norris.
Who
I will promise you so much in that
As long as it
this
doesn't
will not
move
be
around,
like Chuck
yeah.
Norris.
That was so dumb. Like, I understand why they did it, but thank you, Tristan, for making capturing a nightmare. Okay, all the players are ready. Best of luck. And everybody, I need you to give me your best racing emotes fast. Wheels, cars, people who are smiling? I suppose those are racers too. Okay, because the countdown is happening right now. Everybody spam your emotes. Yeah, the rolling cow. I suppose that is a racing emote. As soon as I see movement in the game, I will start our timer.
I did call that we would start from driver selection, and it just kind of looks like Martin missed the memo or chose not to do that. I'm sorry, I just got everyone's streams open.
I'll live. Like, whatever. Yeah.
There we go. So first of all, the very first thing sacrificed on the altar of porting is that in the original arcade version, you picked your driver and that determined your difficulty. There were difficulty classes of drivers. As far as I can tell in this port, it doesn't matter. All the drivers seem to behave exactly the same, and all of the cars seem to behave exactly the same. And this game, like most other really bad kart racers, if you make contact with another racer, you just lose the interaction.
Oh, well, that's nice. I mean, it's like Shrek Kart, right?
Yeah, it's like Shrek Kart.
Not
And-
exactly a stellar comparison. This is better than Shrek Kart, right?
I don't think this is better than Shrek Karts.
Oh, no. No. Well, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, so when you collide with an obstacle or another racer, the game only has one response to it, and that is you crash, spinning out 90 degrees to the right, will go right until you hit the edge of the render plane of the game, loop around to the left side of the track, and spin back onto the track right where you left off from.
Yeah, that's not great.
No, it's not.
By the way, if I do occasionally pause and don't make any noise, it will probably be because I am eating some food. I'm finishing my lunch.
Makes me a little jealous. I want lunch, but I'm getting food after this, happily, so.
Well, good. It's great.
So, when I looked up reviews of this, there was this weird split, right? People who grew up with the Amstrad thought this was a really solid title for the Amstrad, and I can't really disagree because, like I said, the chip in the Amstrad was a Dorito, and doing sprites in the Amstrad was pain.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone who knew anything about Power Drift thought this was poop.
I love it. Amstrad fans loved it. Power Drift fans hated it.
Pretty much.
That's kind of a perfect... I'd almost say that's a perfect port.
So one of the other things is speed is really important here. Every racer has a maximum speed of 244 kilometers. Kilometers per what? We don't know. But there's a change gear button that lets you switch between low and high gear. And sometimes you will just fall to lower gear for no reason. So if you see a racer just driving along at 244 and then suddenly they drop to 169, that's because the game decided to downshift them for a reason I couldn't determine.
I mean, sometimes the gear just slips, you know?
Yeah, well, pretty much. You have a really bad gearbox or something.
Yeah, gotta keep your foot off of the clutch unless you're using the clutch. Important rule, everybody: do not ride the clutch. That's how you ruin your car.
Yes. But
Yeah,
this is the game.
Yeah, this
the main
is
thing
good.
the main thing we're going to see is people trying to pass and running into other racers and going into a spin.
Why are the roads going into the sky?
So the original Power Drift does that on the arcade, but the original Power Drift has like supports for stuff and things you can see in the background, and it's not just blue sky everywhere. These are very go-karty tracks that do like figure eights and stuff where you have overpasses. And just
Yeah,
they
I'm not
couldn't
getting
render a lot of
that.
that
I'm
stuff.
not getting that in this, you know? Get that we're like in some weird, bizarre world where apparently racetracks are Mobius strips and you are just part of the weird, weird desert world that you're in.
So hang out for a little bit then if you want weird, because this is a Sega game.
Ooh.
And Sega really likes to do inserts from other IPs in their games, like other things in their games. There are two tracks here at the end of Cup C and Cup E, I think it is, where you get to play as the motorcycle from Hang On and the jet from Afterburner.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm totally serious.
Amazing. Perfect video game, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. The way we're doing it is we're going to do all 5 of the cups in order, and anytime a racer beats a cup, they can continue from that cup if they game over. Do I expect a lot of game overs? No, not really. This game is kind of not very hard. I'm expecting some crashes to make the differences mostly.
Good to know, good to know. So, Asuka got a little bit stuck right there. Well, yeah, the biggest issue I see is that, you know, if you're driving and you need to pass somebody, that's a little bit difficult.
Yes.
Just because, you know, they touch you, you stop. And there's no getting around that. You're going to essentially crash if you touch somebody. We do get more than a desert, right?
Yes. The other cups will take you through different locales and have some different aesthetics going on, but it's not nearly as varied as the arcade version. Because, you know, where would they put it?
DLC.
Ah. Just
Actually, did
dial
the
into a
CPC
BBS
even
somewhere and
have-
download a patch for the game.
Did they have modems for the CPC?
I imagine they do, but heck if I know for sure. But yeah, this is kind of a low blow on my part, because for the Amstrad this is not bad. For Power Drift this is turbo trash. I mean, I've had other Amstrad CPC games in Kuso6rande. A couple of seasons ago I made 2 racers play Ghouls, which was just by and far inferior to this in every way whatsoever, and oh, how did people sell that for money? I don't know. But this is one that I've wanted to showcase for a while as just, wow, this is a bad Power Drift port. One additional quirk I want to cover before we get too far into it is racers will be allowed to continue from the cup they left off on if they game over. In addition to that, I have asked the racers when time is called to finish their current race. And if we are in a situation where 2 racers are on the same race at time, we're going to go by whoever finishes it first.
Okay, cool. Am I okay? I'm eating food. Yeah, I'm more than okay. I
Yeah,
sounded
but
like a
the-
Yeti for a little while, but, you know, sort of just getting back to my Neanderthal roots, you know.
Yeah, which is why I'm over here just saying whatever, like, whatever thing comes to mind. covering for you.
Yeah, good job. It's okay. My food is dead.
I would hope it was.
I mean, and eaten. It's been eaten.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, if it's a salad, you don't want it completely dead. You want it, like, partially dead. Yeah, I'm not gonna eat dry spinach. That sounds gross. Dried spinach salad.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's right. That's the kind of terrible thing that everybody could have ended up with. But no, turns out that live spinach is much better.
I know someone who did a science experiment in college where he dried and smoked things that weren't intended to be smoked. And he did it with spinach. He just like fully dried it like you would tobacco, put it in a rolling paper and smoked it. And
I don't imagine that was the most enjoyable experience. It's like, well, got spinach in my lungs.
Look, spinach lung is a condition that afflicts one person every 50 years. Be a little considerate.
See, when you said he smoked things, I thought you meant like meat, like how you smoke meat.
He did roll and smoke beef jerky, but not in the way you're talking about.
No, not that. Oh my gosh, you do not smoke beef jerky. You do not. If you are. Why is my YouTube just repeating the same songs over and over again? Come on, move on to something else, like this one.
Oh, we resorted to the backup music already?
Already, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Stupid Skull Man just wanted to make an appearance. So, question, do you have to take a certain place in the races in order to move on?
Yeah, you have to get third or better. You have 5 credits.
Okay.
If you lose 5 races in a cup, you game over and have to start the cup over.
Do you expect anybody to have that happen?
In the beginning, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But really, once you get through a cup and you start another one, the difficulty kind of ratchets back down a little bit. So I think people will get used to how this game goes, and maybe we'll still see some losses just because you can hit someone and get knocked from 1st to 8th.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how they do.
Okay.
I'm a little
uncalibrated
on a blind playthrough of this because I've tested and vetted this 5 times because I kept saying I'm gonna give this out, and then I woke up the morning of a GM slot and changed my mind.
Well, I mean, that's how it goes. By the way, it looks like Ritz Blues is currently behind the other players, but he might have started over just to get a little bit of a better time on some of the races. Ritz Blues got a gold on stage 1 and is currently looking to get maybe a silver going on here. Asuka has 2 silvers. Martin has a bronze and a silver on the first 2 races. I don't know. Yeah, they're going to be figuring out how to consistently do the race as well. And I don't know, like, yeah, looking at this, I think this is a pretty good CPC game. Like, compared to some of the other stuff out there, it's pretty good. It's not a good racing game, period, but it's good for the computer.
Yeah, it's not terrible. And we don't really care about placements here. We, the enemy racers all seem to be hard locked on a path. So if you come in first, you have objectively finished the course faster than someone who came in third. So we don't really care too much about placements as long as you make third or better. We only care about progress through the courses here.
Yeah. Now, Cadis does have an interesting question. Ritz Blues' time and score are both going up. Martin and Asuka, their time and score are frozen, and I think that might be because they restarted this specific race. Maybe it's just like you cannot get better here.
Yeah, that's the theory I have, is that their scores aren't moving because both of them had to retry. I think that's what's going on here.
That is my belief that they had to retry. Okay. Or there's a cap at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, what it probably does is it tracks your best time for, like, the circuit as a whole, and if you have to restart any of the races, it's like, nope, it doesn't count as a high score anymore. Too bad, you don't get anything.
Well, the retry thing seems to be out the window. I am not entirely sure why their score isn't going up.
Does the score matter?
Nah, score doesn't matter. I'm not super worried about it.
Okay.
I believe it has something to do with continues or retries, but I'm honestly not sure, and I'm just gonna have to keep an eye out and see if it impacts their progress somehow.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that somebody who plays well gets a bonus from score. You know, it would just be one of the surprise mechanics that we would see pop up. Kuso6rande sometimes has those, everybody. As long as the surprise mechanics don't, like, completely change how the entire game functions.
I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of they have made more progress at some point and had to retry or something of that nature.
I think so.
But that's a weird one. I did not have that happen. Then again, to be perfectly honest, the way I tested continues and everything was I got halfway into the second cup and then just deliberately game overed and checked where it left me off if I continued and went, okay, I understand now, and I didn't test the score after that.
Oh my gosh, sorry, piece of pepper hit the back of my throat and I'm like, ah! It tastes good. It's just a little very specific there. By the way, this appears to have actually been developed by Sega themselves for the CPC, if I'm not mistaken. One of the people, the person who did the main programming for this version, also did coding for Night Shift, which I've seen pop up recently. I think today or yesterday in somebody's credits. They also programmed Ren and Stimpy Show Fire Dogs. Oh
no.
Yeah. You know you've got a good game when that happens.
So the credits for this port are 3 people. I noted that when I was getting some info together for this.
Yeah, and it looks like the person who did the art, guess what? This is the only game they worked on. But the musician actually has done a lot of music in the past. David Lowe also did music for Cybermorph. What a good game. Waterworld, Cliffhanger. Krusty's Super Fun House.
How?
Count Duckula 2 featuring Tremendous Terrace.
I put that in Kuso6rande last year.
Postman Pat 3 to the rescue.
That's been in Kuso6rande.
I don't think it has.
Postman Pat has absolutely been in Kuso6rande.
I have talked about Postman Pat during Kuso6rande, but I do not recall it ever being. Okay, how about this? Altered Beast. He did Altered Beast.
How has everything this guy touched turned to poop?
Ghostbusters 2.
No.
Ghostbusters 2's music is actually pretty legit.
Yeah, but the game is trash.
I would say that almost everything that he's worked on, the music is better than the game.
Yeah. How?
Oh, how about Final Fight? One of the versions for Final Fight. There we go.
Okay, which version, though? Because Final Fight has some trash versions, too.
GBA? Maybe? I don't know. That's the thing that popped. Well, maybe not the. No. Did he do the ZX Spectrum version of that? No. I'm looking. Okay. Who is this we're talking about? David Person. Okay.
David Lowe.
Yeah. Maybe the CPC version? Maybe the Amiga? No, maybe the C64? Yeah, he did the Commodore 64 version of Final Fight. There you go. I'm sorry, I got everybody's hopes up that he did Game Boy Advance, but no. Commodore 64. I imagine that that's not necessarily stellar. Smebbleberry, you want to hear the music this guy did? All right. Let me go ahead and see if I can find it real quick.
So Ritz Blues has moved on to race 5 in the first cup. It looks like both of our other racers are a little stuck on race 4.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Vroom, vroom. Okay. P64 Final Fight OST. Are we gonna get any of this music? I found the arcade version. Commodore 64. Okay, you might have to hear some of the fighting sound effects, so forgive me. Here we go. Oh yeah, listening to Final Fight music and you have to actually hear the rest of the game. Yeah. Absolutely a travesty. My gosh. Hurry up and load the game. The 2-hour VOD, so we might have a little bit of content here. Maybe. Is there any audio? How can you do?
This VOD has been muted by Twitch.
It might have been muted by YouTube. Yeah.
That too.
There we go. Yeah, rocking out. This is good. This is good. Final Fight music. I enjoy it. Okay, David Lowe. You did pretty fantastic so far. He was also called, or David Art, not David Lowe. David Lowe was an actor. He's also called Uncle Art, which I'm not sure if that's a better or worse nickname.
For a moment, I thought you said Unter Art, and I'm like, no, there's no way.
He is David Lowe, yeah. Okay, let's see about stage 1 music. Let's see how that sounds. You're gonna hear some punching and stuff. Don't worry, it's not the go-kart racers here who are punching and yelling and stuff. Oh no, Asuka got 4th place in that race. Honestly, it looks like Ritz has passed all the other players.
Yeah, so, and I did realize what's going on with the score on the other 2 racers' screens. The time and the score are for the entire cup, and after you fail on a track, the time stops iterating because, you know, and will go down if you get a faster time.
There's no music in the stages for Final Fight. It's Commodore 64. So he did the title music.
Yeah, that's kind of the same with the Amstrad Power Drift here. You have a credit for music, but it's the title screen music.
Well, you get what you got what you wanted, chat, which was a little bit of the music that was good, and that's it. I just love the whole screen scroll when you crash on the track,
Yeah.
that you fly off to one side of the track and then appear on the other.
The screen wrap is real strong.
It's like, how do they do that? How do they do that in life?
What,
Like,
you've
is it
never
like
screen wrapped
Portal?
while driving?
I've spun out. Never screen wrapped. Okay, but to be fair, the time that I spun out was definitely during a blizzard. So, you know, driving in blizzards is difficult and generally not recommended, and I have done it way too many times in my life.
Not a good idea if you can avoid it. I drove through a hurricane. That was not fun.
That's not fun. No, that's bad. I'd rather, yeah, why? But then again, I've driven through blizzards, so, like, maybe neither of us has a good track record.
The hurricane was blowing in, and I got called by my crappy job at the time and told, we are not closing the office. If you're not there, you'll be fired. And I was driving home from work, and the hurricane landed.
Are you serious?
Yeah, don't work for a call center if you can avoid it.
Oh, yeah, I think that being fired possibly would have been the best result of that.
So, I I would have made it back before the storm hit, except I hit a traffic jam on the way back because everyone else was doing equally unsmart stuff.
Oh no. Yeah. Hey, it looks like Ritz is through. Moving on to the next cup, if I'm not mistaken. Asuka, yes. I don't know about Asuka though.
Game overed, unfortunately. So this is going to be a pretty big split right off the bat here, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it looks like Martin just got a game over as well. So Ritz taking a very strong lead at this point. Very nice.
I also want to point out, if you watch the race timer on anyone's screen, it's basically 3 seconds to 1 second.
Oh, so it's
like, okay, it's
we're
a second
getting
and a
real
half
life
to...
Tims.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love Tims. I miss Tims, and we've got Tims because of this game. Thank goodness. Oh. Well, I'm just trying to think. I was taking a look at various Atari games. Every once in a while I comb through the Atari 800 library to see if I can find anything else, because there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games in there. And, you know, most of the racing games on that system are not good. I found some pole position games that are definitely, like, it feels like they're bootlegs, and they probably are. I wouldn't be surprised. Like real pole position, fantastic game. Those, the frame rate was worse than this. Like, they were bad. They were unplayable. But yeah, it honestly is really impressive what some of the computers at that time could do. And with the CPC having such crappy hardware comparatively compared to other systems, and still being able to do this, like, they must have worked some sort of miracle to make this game happen.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of the other GMs about this as we were setting up for the match, and the conclusion we came to is that a lot of these port jobs, the developers really tried. It's just the technical limitations that were set in front of them, like, hey, we want you to replicate power drift on the Amstrad. That's a losing proposition from the beginning.
Yeah. So what do? You just have to get down to what you can do to make it somewhat recognizable and mostly playable. And honestly, I feel like they did that with this port. It's not good, but I would say that they did everything that they could in their power to get this.
Yeah.
And everything they could in the Amstrad CPC's power.
I largely equate this game to when I was a real little kid. I had a little Tiger handheld game, and it wasn't Tiger. It was one of those really offshoot things, like a bootleg of Tiger handheld games. And all it was an LCD screen of a track with 3 lanes, and you moved your car between the 3 lanes to weave between traffic.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like to me, almost that infidelity.
I'm also thinking, the person who worked on this had worked on one game before this, which was specifically WEC Le Mans 24, and I believe that they also did the Amstrad CPC port of that game. So, was it John O'Brien? No, that was John Mullins who did that port. Where are you? Where are you? Which port did you do? MSX? Do C64? No. Did you do ZX Spectrum? Yes. Okay, so they had done a ZX Spectrum of one other racing game in their past. Great. Their second project that this programmer got was Power Drift. Not for the ZX Spectrum. No, you're going Amstrad this time. Good luck. And yeah, for this to be the second ever game that you made,
it works.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, seriously, kudos to them. And considering that, Sega definitely had some sort of standards when it came to came to video games at that time. What, this was created in '89, this specific port. At the same time, I don't imagine they put nearly as much focus or dedication into anything that wasn't a Sega console. I imagine they were like, for some reason we got contracted, or if this was originally their own game, they're just like, just make this port, just do it.
Make it happen.
Do it. Like, we don't really care too much, as we just need a port for some reason. I don't know. I don't imagine they could have like put too much pressure onto making something good, but it is still like pretty dang impressive. And considering oh, what else? Somebody was talking about the time limit for developers. For the original game, they probably had a much bigger time limit than a port of an arcade game that became popular. My guess, arcade game became popular. Everybody was like, we want to play a home version. And Sega's like, we just got to pump this out, okay? Get on it, guy who made one racing game before. This is yours. And he did it.
So I'm thinking back on Ritz Blues made a decision very early in the race to not continue after his first loss, and I'm thinking that made a very large difference here, because we had our other two racers game over fully on either track 4 or track 5, and Ritz Blues was just able to coast through after figuring it out. I suspect that little decision might make a large part of this race.
Yeah, at this point, Ritz Blues is definitely in the lead. Yeah, that's something that we saw a little bit with, what was it, Dragon's Lair earlier today, that choosing how to use your deaths and what to do in response to your deaths can make a huge difference. Restarting the first race after dying sort of makes sense. It might take a little while to load the game again, but as long as you take that little bit of time, you're saving the whole possibility of having to do all of the races over again. But yeah, I'd say that was a very wise decision there. Figuring out how you want to tackle Kuso6rande is always a bit of a challenge. Mystery Tournament, for example, usually has it so that if you get a full game over, go back, you're not going to lose a whole lot of progress. Kuso6rande, you can lose all of the progress because of a mistake like that. And we don't give anything to help buffer you. You have to make the choices yourself. When should you continue? Should you even continue? You know, are deaths early on going to be worth it? Or, you know, do you not want to die? I don't really know if there is a perfect way to approach it. Just one tip for players is that if you do get an early game over, an early death, sometimes it is worth resetting, but again, you have to know how long it takes to get back into the game. Anyways, there you go. There's my thoughts, Tristan.
Martin has discovered a way to abort the current course and restart it, which I wasn't even aware existed.
Does that mean that you don't take a loss on that course?
I have no idea. I didn't know that was a feature. So, because I didn't know, I didn't tell anyone, so everyone was equally in the dark. So I consider it fair play.
I would say so. Most of the time when it comes to games, if certain game mechanics are not revealed and somebody is able to come across it, that's also something they are able to do and take advantage of. And honestly, because Martin found it, we would not want to balance that or take away that advantage due to the work that he put into the game. Yeah.
That may turn out to be... Well, he's back on 1. I didn't see if he took a game over or not.
I don't know. Yeah, I do see that he's on stage 1. So it might have actually reset all of the progress.
It might have.
That's
yeah,
also...
Ritz is just cranking it out. He's getting to the latter half of the second cup now, which... Yeah, he's progressing along pretty well. The Oscar and Martin are still kind of struggling a little bit, but I don't think they're completely out of it yet.
How long is this Captain Planet song? Okay, it's almost over. It's been going on for way too long.
Have you ever stuck a 10-hour like song into a playlist and then not been able to change it because of technical limitations?
Literally, I have never done that, no. What are you doing to limit yourself technologically that way?
That's a long story.
Uh-oh.
But
Did you get a CD stuck in the player? Did you get your tape stuck?
So, not the most recent BBG, but the one before it had exactly that problem at like 2 in the morning.
Oh, no. Meekins is in chat. I assume Meekins has some information about that.
Meekins didn't break that one. That was something else.
Somebody else did. Well, well.
We can blame Koal for that one.
Koal. Oh, yeah. I love to hear that. It's always good to blame Koal. He deserves it sometimes. Koal, by the way, is the head of Big Bad Game-a-thon. He basically makes sure that things happen. And he puts a lot of work into that. And thank goodness, it ends up being a really fun event.
Meekins wants it known that just because something goes wrong during BBG doesn't mean they did it.
Right. Right. I'm not convinced. Gonna need to do some more convincing, i.e. give me some cookies. That's all it takes, Meekins, then I'll be on your side. I'm very bribable, by the way, especially when it comes to board games. If people bribe me, I will likely change sides and help out. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. We were playing, what was it, Cosmic Encounter last night. I believe that's what it's called. And that's how I treated it. Somebody was like, oh, you betrayed me, and so I'm gonna hurt you. And then I later gave them a card for free that was really helpful, and I said, this is because I want to get back on your side and I want to be friends again. And it worked. And then I won.
Because you are winning now, I want to be on your side.
Actually, no, I was winning at that point. See, the thing is, Cosmic Encounter is kind of fantastic, kind of fascinating. It's a space-based game where you're trying to control other people's planets. The big twist, though, is that the game has probably about 200 different factions. And the way that we played is that we randomly draw 2 of them and choose between the 2 that we drew who we wanted to play as. And their individual rules can greatly change the gameplay. So, for example, I ended up being the peddler, who actually has a shop and who can sell various items to the players. And let me just say, I could use that shop pretty liberally and just give items to players if I wanted to.
I can't play competitive games anymore. I'm probably happier that I can't, honestly.
One of the people had a race that essentially, if they were involved in a battle, they could optionally have everybody trade their hands with another player. And
Ritz crashed at the very end of the race and took
Ritz. 4th. Well, come on, Ritz, you can do it. You can do it this time. There was one race that one of our friends got that allowed him to cheat. Specifically, to cheat. Okay? And specifically, the way that he could cheat was that if nobody noticed he was taking cards from the deck or from anywhere, then he could get away with it.
I mean, that's just reality.
Yeah, but technically it's not cheating when his specific rules permit it. So the rule about cheating was that cheating specifically for him was not cheating.
Fair.
Unless he got caught.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is just how it goes.
There was one rule that would make everybody stand up and close their eyes, and the player would then be able to switch two things that on the board, and then after everybody was able to look, if somebody guessed what was changed, then they would get that card, and if they didn't, then everything would remain the same.
Oh.
And yeah, that one was kind of stupid. It took a long time, but it was a fun, stupid ability. Stand up and close your eyes. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what else. It just gets really bizarre quite a bit of the time, and I ended up using diplomacy to win last night because we ended up having two people win at the same time, because I was like, I'll join you if you want, you know, we can share the victory. And he's like, all right. His race was the neighbor, and he was completely okay playing that part up, so I got to be his neighbor.
Good.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a good neighbor.
Yeah.
Until, you know, the opportunity arises to stab them in the back and take the victory for yourself.
I love that some of the factions in there that I've never seen played, they have their own unique tokens and their unique card decks, but the odds of you actually seeing those pulled out are pretty low, but eventually they'll show up. It's fun, Tristan. Rounds can take anywhere between like 15 minutes and 3 hours. You just never know.
Ritz has hit a bit of a wall here on the 5th track of the second cup. Has wiped out a couple of times now, but still pretty well in the lead. We'll see if anyone else can take the opportunity to catch up.
Yeah, he's on the second cup, and the other players are on the first cup. Yeah, if Ritz Blues can finish the second cup in at least third place, then I feel like Ritz Blues is going to take the victory today. Like, it would be very, very difficult to pass Ritz. So this is your race to lose, Ritz.
There is still the opportunity for either racer to catch up. Unfortunately, well, no, hold on. Asuka is in third at the moment and could finish this and move on to the second cup, at which point she would have 20 minutes to catch up. But yeah, if Ritz takes this, he's going to just keep moving that bar upward.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I just remembered one of the alien races from last night. They were an architect, and I hate that architect. Because if they won a fight against a player, they could take one of your 5 planets, put it on top of another planet. Now you only have 4 planets. And planets are key to winning the game. And it's like, well, shoot, I hate you.
Alright, so yeah, Asuka moves on to the second cup.
Nice!
Because this game is amazing, you have to remap controls between each cup.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I love it. Yeah, right now, Ritz actually looks at it in a fairly good position to take at least second place. Here we go, Ritz finishing the second cup. I don't see anybody else passing Ritz at this point. 41 minutes into the match.
That start where Ritz moved on and the other 2 racers had to start over just hurt really bad.
Yeah, the first cup ended up being extremely important, and getting a late game over was worse than resetting. Ooh. But yeah, Ritz is doing really well.
Yeah.
Better define
now
your...
Ritz has to remap controls, probably.
Ritz is opting to just jump into this. Well,
yeah, he's just going. He might be using the default controls, which are wild, because it's like up is accelerate, and by default on like an Xbox pad, one of the bumpers is shift, and it's just why? And the answer to why is RetroArch does weird things.
I'm actually okay with bumper to shift. I could handle that. That's fine.
To accelerate?
To accelerate? No, but to shift.
Oh, no, up to accelerate.
Up to accelerate, it gets tiring, but that's fine.
Oh, okay.
don't know. Maybe I've played a lot of crap, Tristan.
Yeah? I
Yeah.
mean, how do you feel about up to jump?
I never like it, but I'm sort of okay doing it with the D-pad. Like, there's worse. And if you give me a D-pad, I'll get through it.
Okay, what about down to jump?
Okay, that's Conan the Barbarian for NES. That has both up to jump and down to jump. And I don't love that. No. I'm gonna say no. I dislike that. I'm trying to remember. We had a game where it was just diagonal to jump.
Oh no. So here's a showcase of what I was talking about before, by the way, with once you start a new cup, difficulty kind of ratchets down a little bit. Oscar's in first here in the first race of the second cup.
Okay.
Like rather firmly in place at that. And it's going to be a little bit easier until around the third race, and then the difficulty will bump up a little bit higher than it was in the first cup, and that pattern repeats.
If you lose, does the difficulty still go up?
No, it doesn't. I just mean per track, the difficulty.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
The racers do a little bit better as you go through each race in a cup, and then when you go to another cup, it rolls back down again.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I've got one complaint now. Yeah, I haven't complained about anything in this game up till this point. My complaint is that Ritz Blue is on Cup 3, and it looks like Cup 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And
So
you gotta at least vary up the palette of the ground, at the very least.
there's very
yeah.
minor differences, like just like some of the cacti are different. You get some additional what looks like girder, like steel girder trellises in place, but mostly it's desert. It's not great.
Yeah, but like from what I saw, the original Power Drift had a lot more excitement.
It did. Like they sacrificed a lot to make this feel somewhat like Power Drift on the CPC. And by that I mean they sacrificed Power Drift.
Yeah, this isn't absolutely like. I'm just taking a look at some of the pictures here of gameplay, and I'll go ahead and put a picture or two up here because this looks so much better. So much better.
The Dorito is giving its all. Yeah. Someone had credited me for coming up with the chip in the Amstrad as a Dorito, and it's like, if you like that reference, that's actually a Weird Al reference from like 20 years ago.
Aha! Oh, Weird Al.
Weird Al did it first.
Yeah, he always does. Weird Al.
Well, typically Weird Al does it second, but you know.
And let me see. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay. Here is a screenshot of the game, okay? Look at how lively that one single image. It has more movement in a non-animated image than we have seen on these 3 screens for the entire match so far.
Yeah, the arcade Power Drift is an amazing game. I really like it.
Yeah, let me find some more pictures that I can share. I don't know
Oh no.
about this. Okay, can't really see that too. There's a lobster billboard in Power Drift, okay? Lobsters, you want to eat lobsters? Guess what you don't get lobsters in? The CPC version, huh? There are no lobsters in there. Look at him go, look at him go. Yeah, it just looks so animated, especially with the turning that the camera sort of goes on, like tilts a little bit to reflect the way that you're turning. Like, it's so cool comparatively.
Yeah, no port does that because the
It's
arcade
hard.
cabinet had like hardware sprite rendering and could do basically what we understand to be mode 7 on the SNES.
Yeah.
It could do sprite rotation and scaling, and they went ham with that. The arcade Power Drift, by the way, came out in 1988, and it could do that.
Yeah, and the developers for this did their best to do sprite scaling. I'm not gonna lie, they tried. And like, it actually doesn't look too bad for the CPC. The floating sign's a little weird, But the cacti, like, it's convincing enough that I am okay with it. The barrel's convincing enough. It's just nowhere near what the original was.
It's so arcadey and just like fast paced and everything on the arcade. I love that kind of game, and I'm kind of sad it doesn't really happen anymore. But then again, apparently there's a new Hot Wheels game out in 2021, and what even is time anymore?
There is, and apparently it's good.
That's scary.
Well, ask Corndan. He's the one who told me it's good. And I have a feeling he might be playing it for Don't Make Us Bored one of these weeks.
Okay, is that better or worse than Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Better. Oh, jeez. Why are you even trying to compare? It's not even apples to oranges. You're comparing apples to poop. And I'm gonna take the apple.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
We have a rather neat staggering of progression here in the race so far. Ritz Blues is well into the third cup. Oscar's on the second. And unfortunately, Martin has game overed on the first one again.
No. Martin, yeah. It is a big spread. You wouldn't know it looking at the games. But
Yep.
Ritz, Asuka, and Martin are all on different cups here.
So it was my expectation that we would see some pretty similar progress to the point where we would have to finish a race at time to figure out who won. But just Ritz's strategy and using his continues has paid off so much. I guess I'm going to leave it up to Cadis to figure out if we need to do that or not. But
Probably not.
We'll see in 10 minutes.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the less I see of this game, the better. Like,
you're praising it though.
Well, I'm praising it technically. I'm saying that, like, the work that they put into making this an actual real game on the CPC is impressive. But no, this is about as generic of a driving game. I don't know. No, maybe I shouldn't say that. Like, but it's pretty far down there. It's pretty far down when it comes to being interesting. Every stage is basically the same with some different turns. It looks the same. Maybe the players will feel that there's variety in here. But for me, as a viewer, no. I'm not interested in this, Tristan. I'm not.
And that's kind of what I wanted to convey, is there's some effort here to get this as polished as it is, but a lot of things got sacrificed. Music got sacrificed, different stage themes got sacrificed, frame rate got sacrificed for sure.
I'm not going to blame the devs, though, okay? Sony is the one that sacrificed the soul of Power Drift. Or not Sony, Sega. Sony might have, too. I don't know.
By forcing through a port on a platform that couldn't support it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can get behind that. That if this is bad, this is Sega's fault for not understanding that this should not happen. You will not capture the game on the Amstrad CPC, and that's what happened with a lot of port attempts. Is you had devs who tried, but were hamstrung by the fact that the Amstrad is probably the weakest personal computer, like processing power wise, out of that entire generation. It was extremely budget.
Abandon it. Just say we don't care about it anymore. But then again, I don't know. Part of me does feel that every computer, every console deserves to have games, you know. And if people are willing to make games for it, then go for it. But I just don't see any, like, business reason why anybody would say this is a good idea, because, you know, that the computer was old. It was dying by this point. Why make a port of this game for
89? I'm not entirely sure.
It was dead.
Amstrad, yeah, the Amstrad
sacrificed back in the 60s. That's what happened.
I don't think so.
Okay, I really don't know.
But yeah,
okay, it was between 1984 and 1990. I guess it was still being sold, but there were so much better computers.
It's on the tail end at that point. And I can definitely agree that a lot of the badness here is the fault of the business decision to port to the Amstrad. Now, I don't know who made that decision. This may have been contracted by Sega, or someone may have gone and gotten the rights to Power Drift. I don't know what happened here. I'm gonna imagine the former.
Yeah, I think that it was Sega. Like, here's the deal. Your game can only be as good, like, you can try to rearrange the parts of Frankenstein Monster, but at the end of the day, you're going to have a specific arm and a specific leg unless you go and find different body parts, you know? And simply put, the body part for this game was the Amstrad CPC. You're not making an Olympic winning athlete out of that monster, okay? Might be able to walk up and down the street. That's it. That's what the monster is going to do. And that's fine. But don't expect an award-winning athlete out of the Amstrad.
So yeah, it's possible people played this on their budget home PC and enjoyed it, and they definitely did. Like I said at the start of the race, if you go to a dedicated like Amstrad CPC fan site, this gets high reviews. If you go anywhere else, people consider it trash.
Yeah, I just love that, though. And honestly, there were a lot of people, well, talking about the quality of games. I mean, there are games that came out that were bootlegs in China, you know, released, and while, you know, they were like Super Nintendo games ported to the NES and were extremely broken, at the same time, they were getting it as close to the original experience as possible. And yeah, they are broken pieces of crap, but they're still fascinating, and people probably had fun with them. Okay,
yeah, if you compare,
let me go ahead and say, Sony, that's fine that you made this. It's just a weird decision for a business to make.
If you compare this to the Speccy, it's got a much stronger GPU, if you can call it that, and color palette, and rendering modes, drawing modes. I'm regularly shocked that anyone makes a game on the Spectrum look good, just because of what I know about the drawing mode and how you do color selection and whatnot. This at least has more polite interfaces to its drawing hardware.
Okay.
But it's not.
Oh, I mean, it was released 2 years after, so it makes sense that it would be a little bit more advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? I think I've been all over the place with my feelings about the existence of this port, and I really don't know how to feel at the end of the day. Like, I'm angry, but at the same time, I'm really impressed. But at the same time, I don't understand.
So my take on it is, if you line this up with other ports of Power Drift and the arcade version, it falls sharply, sharply short. But if you're in a family who got the Amstrad CPC, and that was your thing for like the entire generation of systems, and you had no Sega Master System and no other PC or anything like that, you were probably happy to have this if you were a Power Drift fan.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, this is not the arcade experience, but it's something I can play at home.
I would probably say if you are not a Power Drift fan, if you were a Power Drift fan and you got this for the computer, yeah, you knew it wasn't going to be as good. But this is like worse than not as good. But if you knew nothing about Power Drift, which would have been me, and if you still played it, which could have been me, then you may have enjoyed it. Because honestly, for a CPC game, this is pretty high up there.
So a couple of people are saying that they never even heard of the Amstrad. It's mainly a British system.
Yep. Consider
so
yourselves lucky.
If you weren't in the UK at this specific time, you probably didn't hear about it.
Yeah, it came out in 84, essentially stopped being produced in 1990. It was mostly focused over in the UK. It established itself in the UK, France, Spain, and German-speaking parts of Europe. It still appears that the ZX Spectrum was more popular. I would bet that it was cheaper and also more established. You know, it came out 2 years before the Amstrad CPC, which means that it had a 2-year bonus.
The drawing mode had 27 colors. That beats pretty much anything else that was available at the time.
Wow, a lot of colors.
Yeah, most things around that era were limited to 16 because of bit alignment, but
yeah. It's oddly specific. Why 27?
because you can set each of the RG and B channels to 0, 1, or 1/2. So 3 cubed.
How do you set it to 1/2? Like, what is? I know you can do 0 and 1. How do you get half?
I don't know what you set into the registers before you call the interrupt. I don't know.
I don't know. DAC, what the? I can't swear on this channel. I want to say, what the crap is a DAC? What is a DAC?
Out of all the things to practically make you drop an F-bomb, it's the existence of a 0.5 in a binary system. I love it.
Yeah, I hate it. How can you have 0.5 in binary? This is dumb. Floating point, I'll float your point, Mad Dragon. Yeah, that's right. Gonna float it down the river.
I've finally done it. I've done it.
It's so dumb. You can't have point. It's like half an A press, okay? It's dumb. Yeah, that's right. I'm referencing years old memes because shut up. Stupid. 0.5.
Ritz has binary. That's pretty much
5.
it.
0.5. You're 0.5. Yeah. I'm turning this audio up. 5. Yeah, look at me. I'm the C. Oh, I even forgot to hit the timer because of you. Oh my gosh, DAC? I don't know what a DAC is, and I don't want to know. I'm irrationally angry about you being able to get 0.5 out of 0 and 1 because I don't understand it.
Because I told the racers to finish their current race, we're going to go ahead and finish, but the placements are set. It is Ritz in first, Oscar in second, and Martin in third. And unfortunately, because of the scoring of this match, only Ritz goes forward into the tiebreakers. The other two are eliminated, and I have finally here in the final match of round 4, pushed Brossentia far enough.
Yeah, that's right. Ritz Blues gets 1, Martin gets 0, and Asuka gets 0.5 because how the crap does that work, Tristan, huh? That doesn't make any sense. Stupid. Blah. Blah. My name is Programmer, and I just managed to get an exploit that Brossentia doesn't understand because I'm a freaking genius, yeah? Well, let's go ahead and talk to the real genius, Ritz Blues. Hello there, Ritz Blues. Ritz, are you here? Well, yeah, that's because you won.
There you go. Hi.
You see, I got the joke in. Hey, Ritz. Nope.
There we go. Now
Oh, let me boost your audio up. Hey, how are you doing? Congrats.
Hey, thanks, Brossentia.
And yeah,
Wow.
you definitely won.
Okay.
Martin was still on the first cup. Asuka was on the second cup. You were on the third cup. It was pretty clear how spread out things were. And honestly, I think that the thing that gave you the advantage was at the beginning choosing not to continue.
Oh, yeah, right? If you, Wait, when did I do that? I'm trying to remember. I think I accidentally...
You did it on accident? What the crap is... Oh, my... Tristan!
So,
I was mad when it happened, too, because I was like, wait. This is like the third one in. I can just continue and pick up from here, right?
So the very beginning of the race, there was an incident where you game over somewhere in the middle and didn't continue for whatever reason, and you basically were able to smoothly progress through the game after that. Well,
congrats,
Oscar
you won on accident.
Oscar and Martin had the same experience, except they got all the way to track 5 in the first cup and then game overed.
Oh, but you can continue, right? So, I mean, I just finished out and then, well, once I was done, it dumped me back to the title screen.
But continuing will take you back to the first of the 5 races. So continuing kind of sucks.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, I mean, like if you run out of continues, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one a couple things on my mind. Number one, every enemy car looks exactly the same.
Mhm.
And the back of their car looks like an angry frog, and I can't stop thinking that. And
they kind of do, yeah.
And just the fact that they can drive through you from behind without crashing, or drive through rocks without crashing, and drive through opponents without crashing, this game is completely unfair.
Yes, it is.
Okay, Ritz Blues, I'm angry, not because of you, but I need to ask you an important question. Okay.
Yeah.
Take a binary system, okay? You only have 1 bit. What are the numbers that you can get out of that? Please tell me the numbers.
0 and 1.
What else?
Okay, so to give some context on
What
that-
else can you get out of this freaking... You can get 0.5, apparently. Freaking hate this.
Okay. So to give some context on this, since you weren't here for what has made Brosintia hit the roof, is apparently the Amstrad CPC has the ability to specify 3 values per color channel, 0, 1, and 1/2. And Brosintia can't even.
Okay.
I mean,
1/2.
I mean, technically, I guess you could have a change between 0 and 1 be a piece of information. That can be information that is passed over. Anyway, yeah, I'm thinking too much now, Ritz Blues, and I'm very angry because it's Sunday and I'm not supposed to think on Sundays, okay? It's supposed to be empty-headed joy. Instead, here I am worrying about binary, trinary, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Oh, man.
Other than that, what are your thoughts about the game?
Yeah, I mean, some of the turns are a little rough, but I mean, it's like kind of a lot of the early racing games where you have to, just balance your speed and don't touch anything.
Okay.
Like the biggest thing that you can do in this game to mess up is touch anything.
Yep.
So
you lose every interaction.
So if you get even close, it's like just hit the brakes because it's faster.
Yeah. To be fair, there are a lot of racing games like that where slowing down is actually one of the better ways to stay consistently fast. And it took me a long time to realize that as a kid, because I would just be the kid who always held the gas the entire time, and if I crashed, I just crashed, But now, no, I'll actually use the brake from time to time, or let go of the gas, because you gotta think with your brain, not with your freaking... Not with binary 0 and 1, okay? You gotta find that 0.5. The 0.5...
Right. The 0.5 is letting go of the accelerator, but not hitting brake.
Yeah. Stupid. Anyways, I think that's all that I have for today. Ritz Blues, I believe you have made it to the tiebreaker then, so congratulations. You are not out.
Wonderful.
Yeah. But that means you have to play more games, so good job.
Thanks, I guess.
It'll be fun. It'll be good. Well,
oh, yeah.
Is there anything that you need to plug before we take off for the day?
No, just getting ready for my GDQ submissions before the deadline. Only got a few hours left. So.
Yeah, I got 4 submissions in. I could get another one in, but I don't think I will, just because I'm going to be lazy. But yeah, I had a lot of fun getting those in because I already had the VODs from Big Bad Game-a-thon. And Don't Make Us Bored. Yeah, you're welcome, everybody, if you want to submit to GDQ by the end of today. Because that's the cutoff. By the end of today, feel free to use any of the VODs that have been on my channel. They are yours to use. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Ritz Blues, thank you so much. Tristan, thank you as well. I loved all of the matches today, even the ones that I complain about. So we need to raid somebody. Let's see. You know what? High Spirits is a good guy and probably the most interesting looking channel that's currently on my list. Let's go and raid High Spirits and see how he is doing. Did we have a good raid message? We're not going to raid with Horny Gel. No. No.
How do you even get 0.5?
0.5.
How do you even get 0.5? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, feel free to use all caps or all not caps, whatever. I don't even care. Just go.
Or add the following half a sentence after that.
He might be a little bit confused about 0.5, but I wonder what his response is going to be. Thank you, everybody. I will try to be back tomorrow with more Action 52. If not, though, we've got Don't Make Us Bored Tuesday night. I hope to see everybody then. Take care, Tristan and Ritz Blues.
Yep, thanks, bro.
Bye.
Bye.